LLC, at least controlled or owned by at least one plaintiff, here two plaintiff Z, to procure them. Make no mistake, this is a campaign of silence. These plaintiffs seek the assistance of this court improperly, without legal basis, and more so for improper purpose, to restrict the freedom of expression guaranteed by the United States Constitution and the protections of the Pennsylvania Constitution to silence, granting, and barbecue freedom of expression. A review of these filings on the surface by a skilled legal professional, an unskilled legal professional, and the everyday individual reveals frivolity, but also causes one to pause in the circumspection that a lawyer could draft this meretricious prolixity. For example, the complaint contains first-person allegations made by the scrivener, which we cannot fathom was drafted by Joseph P. Lesniak, Esquire, hereinafter Attorney Lesniak, whose signature is on the documents, while including multiple incidents of random assertions by persons not involved in the litigation. A brief investigation into FOIA requests made by plaintiff Pat is unrelated matters here too reveals a similar structure to the documents filed by these plaintiffs. Furthermore, metadata of certain documents appears to reveal plaintiff Hat and plaintiff Griffin were the scriveners of this bogus attack on the freedom of expression in whole or in part. One could not fathom that an attorney would draft a document that exposes their client to parole violations that bring plaintiff Hat that being plaintiff Hat to bolster their claims. This scrivener actually refers to contact made with law enforcement personnel concerning coordinating a search for the missing teenager. Plaintiff Hat knew or should have known contacting law enforcement concerning the missing teenager without parole office or parole board approval was problematic. Any attorney, this is the part that blows me away the most, you guys. Nick knew he was not supposed to before any of this, before he even got involved, he knew he wasn't supposed to be involved in law enforcement, and he did this anyway. Just like Lesniak knew before he put Attorney Castor's name on that paperwork that he was doing something wrong, and he did it anyway. Yeah. These people are fucking frauds. I mean, this pisses me off. So anyway, I'm sorry if anybody else wants to.
I agree. You're right.
Oh, okay. Well, it's just, you can just clearly see it because it clearly states Nick was not supposed to work with law enforcement unless to have permission. And, he's not just like, okay, I'm spreading awareness and I'm talking about the facts of the case. He's visibly telling people to send tips to his hotline, which is interference with the police investigation. He is like messing up times and dates of the last scene this teenager was seen. He is visibly pulling up videos and intimidating people. It's clear that he has broken the conditions of his parole. And now his lawyer is also, helping him facilitate these things by doing this stuff. But that's just my opinion.
I appreciate you reading it. It's very clear and concise, and you have great inflection on it.
Well, thank you.
I agree.
I just keep imagining the dog and pony show that Nick did for Tony and Seth and whoever else he did it for, while concealing the fact that he knew he shouldn't do any of this shit. I mean, it just blows my mind. But
oh, my fucking Nick.
Yep. I immediately thought that. Anyway, so okay, I will keep going. Any attorney would certainly leave this point out of their filed documents about alleged contact with law enforcement, not these plaintiffs, hell-bent on manufacturing causes of action that cannot survive the lower notice pleading federal standard, let alone the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania's higher fact pleading standard. To further gin up their viewing public, these plaintiffs made a false claim that then former President Donald J. Trump was headed to Tennessee, showing an image of the current president with the United States Secret Service while sitting in the front seat of a limousine. First, no president or former president is interfering with a local investigation unless asked to provide federal resources. Second, no former or current president sits in the front of a limousine. The gullibility of these plaintiffs prey on is amazing. Without a doubt, these YouTube antics are an addiction of madness. Amazingly, these plaintiffs also asserted the search for the missing teenager was moving to Delaware County, Pennsylvania. There has been zero word from law enforcement that this missing teenager is and or was in Delaware County. This is a disinformation campaign being asserted by a trickster with a penchant for orchestrating this type of duplicitous conduct. As a result of the move to Delaware County in the search for the missing teenager, attorney Bruce Castor was asked to provide dates to plaintiff Chapman's deposition since he would be in this local area until spring. The silence from attorney Castor was deafening. Here, there is an issue concerning the inclusion of Attorney Castor as being an attorney representing the plaintiffs. Attorney Castor's involvement was confirmed in the plaintiff's press release concerning this bogus lawsuit with a media event that was supposed to take place on the steps of this courthouse. In fact, on a YouTube stream called Upon All Information and Belief, Mr. E's Crimecast, the panelists readily, while spewing talking points they were provided by certain plaintiffs, made specific references to Attorney Castor's involvement. No such retraction of Attorney Castor's name being used has been made upon All Information and Belief, nor have the YouTube creators thereto. Moreover, certain plaintiffs confirmed Attorney Castor's involvement on their social media feeds. To the contrary, Attorney Castor has noted he was not involved in representing the plaintiffs, yet Attorney Castor's name is used not only in the filed documents, but through other mediums. As a result, Attorney Castor's involvement concerning this litigation needs to be verified, whether it be as a non-entered attorney or in any other behind-the-scenes role. As asserted by plaintiffs, Attorney Castor was their lawyer, as well as Attorney Lesniak. It is certainly plausible Attorney Castor had full knowledge his name would be used on the caption to add weight to his filing, wherein the belief was these defendants would cover, not fight back, and then genuflect to plaintiffs' preposterous demands. In fact, Attorney Castor appeared on News and Crime talking about the underlying case with Plaintiff Chapman, one of his proclaimed clients, just not in this case, and referenced bringing litigation against social media content creators prior to the filing of this drivel, as if free expression was hindering law enforcement or Plaintiff Chapman from searching for the missing teenager. Adding Attorney Castor's name in the above the caption and adding his name on a press release were not, as alleged, a Scrivener's error. Unfortunately, for these plaintiffs, they picked the wrong defendants and the wrong defense counsels. These plaintiffs are being called out for this conduct because it goes to their veracity while shedding light on the true bullies using this court for an improper purpose. Note, this motion for leave to amend the complaint from their own words added individuals thereto, but their true intention has been hidden from this court. As this court can see here too, Plaintiff Hat asserts in a text discussion with Queen, at night has no intention of adding you to the suit. However, the motion for leave to amend complaint sets forth the permission of this court to add Queen to this frivolous lawsuit. If one has no intention to add a party to a lawsuit, then why is this individual referenced as a new defendant to be added to the litigation? This court should sua sponte sanction the plaintiffs, and sua sponte just means without argument, just looking at this piece of paper, you should just go ahead and sanction the plaintiffs and their counsel for this dishonest and vexatious conduct being played out before this court. Here, attorney.
Yeah, correct.
In addition, it has come to light documents including text messages between the parties can confirm a coordinated attack on Granny and Barbecue. These messages are out in the public domain, despite the lack of an attorney involved and a non-party involved in those text communications. At this stage, the undersigned still will not use the same as an exhibit. That said, this court should order full disclosure of those documents to determine whether Attorney Castor is involved in this scheme. As former President Ronald Reagan stated in referencing a Russian proverb, trust but verify. Finally, how does one discern who is telling the truth? The individuals trying to silence other people are the liars, no doubt. Oh, what a tangled web we weave when first we practice to deceive. And then there's a long list of the parties. I won't go through all of that. And then he goes through a list of quote unquote procedural postures where he describes all the tomfoolery, basically.